Good afternoon. Today's video is going to be a half face of what I currently wear, my current makeup style, my current makeup routine versus how I did my makeup probably 15 years ago. I didn't start wearing makeup until I was probably 19 or 20, like consistently wearing it every day. And you will see in a minute that it was a very light application of makeup, and I only ever bought drugstore makeup. My mom wasn't big on makeup. We weren't allowed to wear makeup in high school, and of course I would try it and sneak out with it on anyway. Even then it was just a little bit, you know. So you'll see with these products that I bought and the way I'm going to apply them, I bought certain things because of the way they were packaged, the application products they came with. That really affected my purchasing then. I didn't know of YouTube. I didn't know how to apply this. I bought things that were easy to apply and kind of self-explanatory because I was never really shown how to do makeup. You know, the women in my life are just not makeup wearers. You know, they're gorgeous. They don't need it. So, but I was always interested. I always wanted to wear makeup and kind of be adventurous and, you know, creative. But when I started, it was very basic, very minimal. Yeah, so I'm excited to show you some of the older products I went and actually bought new. Most of the products, yeah, almost all of the products that I went and looked for, they still sell at the drugstore. So for now, I'm going to start with the way I do my makeup now, because I'm going to start with primer, eye primer, and eyebrows. I did not used to do those things. So we're going to go ahead and start on that side first, and we're going to go from there. I'm actually going to start on the current side of my face, and I'm going to prime my eyes with the MAC Paint Pot. You're going to notice I'm going to do quite a few steps here on this side before I even make it to the other side of my face. I'm going to have to remember not to do it to the other side though. I almost did. Okay, so we're going to prime the eye on this side. That's definitely going to be the challenge, is not putting it on both sides as I'm going out of habit. I'm going to use the Mint Melt primer from e.l.f. just on this side. And also on this side, I'm going to put on an eyebrow, I guess. This is going to look a little crazier than I was thinking. Okay, so let's just go for it. Okay, so we won't make it too heavy. I don't want it to look too different. Now the makeup I'm going to show you is the makeup I did when I was, you know, 19, first wearing makeup, first buying my own makeup from, you know, essentially from Walmart, you know, drugstore makeup. My mom and sisters, they weren't big on makeup. You know, we just didn't wear a lot. We weren't allowed to wear it in high school even. So, of course, I had to sneak some because I've always been intrigued. You know, I wanted to try it. I wanted to wear it. Wanted to be creative with it. But, so I was never really shown a makeup routine. My mom didn't really buy us makeup. So, everything I picked, you'll see when we get to it, is kind of a self-explanatory product and very minimal products to use. Okay, there's our brow. I'll go ahead and comb the other one up, but I wouldn't have done anything to this eyebrow. I don't know, I almost want to fill it in, but I'm not going to. Okay, so I've done 3 steps on this side and 0 so far to this. And for foundation, I'm going to go to this side. And this was what I went and picked up. The Covergirl Aqua Smooth. They still sell this in probably about 4 shades. I mean, like, it's not great. It's not a shade range at all. But this was what I bought. I probably bought 5 of these in my life, at least. And I'm going to go ahead and open it up. And we'll see how the shade is. They were all beige colors, so we'll see. I originally bought this then because it comes with a sponge. And I'm going to apply it with this sponge because that is absolutely how I applied it back in the day. So we're going to take this sponge and rub it in this product here. Yeah, it might be a little... Oh no, it's about right. And I would just dipping it in and applied it to my face. Kind of tapping, kind of pulling. And I did specifically go buy this again for this, because this is the foundation I wore. I was terrified of liquid foundation. I didn't know how to apply it. I was like, do you use your fingers? Do you use a brush? Like, I don't have a brush for that. I used what came with the product. So because of that, this was what I picked up because it came with a sponge. And that is genuinely why I bought this, because it came with a sponge. And it was like, oh, you apply it with the sponge. That's really actually a good color match for me. Wow. And I will say I have kind of been partial to CoverGirl foundations since then. I feel like they're usually a good undertone for me. They have, like, you know, a more neutral, cool tone choice. Brands like Maybelline and L'Oreal. I sometimes struggle to find ones that aren't really warm toned products. Now, I probably would not have applied this much, honestly, but this is applying really nicely. It looks good. Not a lot of coverage. Not covering some of these, you know, marks we have here. I'm going to build it up a little bit right here. Also keeping in mind, you know, it's been 15 years and a couple kids later and such. Need a little more product. Well, don't need it, but I prefer a little more coverage at this time. But this actually looks really pretty. Oh my gosh. So here's nothing on this side, and here's with my CoverGirl Aqua Smooth. I wonder if they sell online other shades. Let me look. I might have taken some over my eyelid. You know, I didn't use an eye primer, so. Yeah, the shade range is literally beiges and ivory, so. Come on, CoverGirl. But this is what I wore, so that's why I picked this one up. This is what I wore every day, and I would take my little sponge, my little foundation, and it almost dries down to a powder finish. Like, this is actually really nice. I feel like these kind of things are coming back, like the cream foundation, so if this wears nicely, bring out some more shades of that, CoverGirl. On the other side, I'm going to use my MAC Studio Fix Fluid. And I grabbed this out because I have a couple of shades and I wasn't sure what this was going to look like on my skin. Okay, I don't want to overdo it. I'm trying to keep in mind I'm only using, only need enough for half of my face. And like this, like an open jar of foundation, I never would have bought. Like, what do you do with this? How do you apply it? That was really how I based a lot of my choices at that time. I didn't have other tools for makeup. So there is that. We have the Aqua Smooth on this side and the MAC on this side. I actually feel like this side looks nicer. This looks smoother. All right, the next thing I'm going to do is actually to the current side. I will put on some concealer. I didn't used to wear concealer. Didn't need it at the time, you know. Apply a little bit here. I'll probably just go with that. I'm curious to see how I like this. You know, if I like these products still. They were like, this whole face cost me a little over like 20 bucks. I mean, it was like the whole old school side with the amount of products and the, you know, drugstore side of it. I mean, you can definitely see a difference there, I think. I did not wear concealer at the time. You can definitely see that dark circle, but it is what it is. Okay, so next thing I would have done is set my face if I felt like I needed it. I mean, honestly, this feels like, absolutely feels like a powder. But I did get a powder because I used to, I thought I had to set my foundation. You know what I mean? So I'm going to grab my CoverGirl Clean Matte Foundation, or what is this? CoverGirl Clean Matte Press Powder Oil Control. Also in Buff Beige. I'm going to go ahead and grab the same shade. Still selling this. I thought for sure like the Aqua Smooth wouldn't be for sale anymore, or this wouldn't be for sale anymore. Something. And they had most of the base products I use. Now, I also bought this powder from CoverGirl because it came with a sponge, and this is how I would have applied it, so that's what we're going to do. Again, it's just a little pressed powder. So I pick some up on here and just kind of go back over. Ooh, I look better without that. But anyway, I would have set everything down. And this is what I would have put in my purse. And I even would have worn this on its own. Sometimes I would just grab some of this, spread this out. But I mean, really, I was very light-handed with my application in these. So There is that applied with the sponge it came with, and that is how I would have applied these. That's why I purchased the things that I purchased. Currently, I'm going to go in with the Maybelline Fit Me in 05 under the eyes, and then I'm also going to set my face with a different powder. At this stage, I don't feel like my current routine is looking that much better than the other one, you know? So I'm kind of like, am I wasting all my time doing all this makeup? So we're going to go under the eyes on that, under the eye. And for face powder, I'm going to use the L'Oreal Infallible Fresh Wear. I stopped wearing the Aqua Smooth foundation because it started to really wear off on my skin when I was like, you know, I was really oily. And so I was looking for another foundation to wear, but I feel like we've kind of gone full circle where this is almost looking really nice again. So we'll see. I'll probably continue to use it since I now own those products again. You know, I'm not just gonna throw them out, but I maybe back. But yeah, the shade range is literally 2 or 3 beige colors and ivory colors, and I'm like, Covergirl, if you're not gonna do it right, like, you probably shouldn't even sell it anymore. But okay, at this stage, I'm going to go ahead and contour, bronze, blush, and highlight. Now I'm only going to do a couple of those to this side, and this only gets about one, or I think it gets one of those things. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and contour, and we're only going to contour the current side of the face. Just a little bit under the cheekbone. I feel like I could also do a whole face of the way I started doing my makeup when I started watching YouTube, because that was a whole other story. I started doing, I used up 2 entire Comfort Zone palettes from Wet n Wild. I started to contour, or at the time tried to contour, because it wasn't necessarily always cute. This is where we're gonna start looking a little bit different. I'm gonna contour one side of my nose. Okay. Let me see if I can cover this. Okay, it's looking okay. It's hard to tell against the other side when it obviously looks super unbalanced with only one side done. But anyway, when I started doing, or started watching YouTube, I started doing more eyeshadow looks, and I would use all the shimmers from the Comfort Zone all over my eyes, like in the crease, all over the place. And I would also I would use potted gel liner to apply my liner every day. I own a couple of those. I don't use them anymore. It would take me, no joke, an hour to put on eyeliner because everybody used it at the time when I was watching YouTube. I'm actually going to bronze this side of my face. Everybody was using that, and I was like, how are they doing this? I could not find a brush. I couldn't get the technique down. It was a mess. So I prefer pen liquid liners. But again, nobody was talking about those. They were talking about the potted liners. So that's what I was using. So I feel like there's a whole other video that could be made between this and this. There was like a whole other section of makeup that kind of brought me to where I am now. Okay, so there's our bronzer. Nothing on that side. I've got a little bronzer on this side. Are we looking totally different? I feel like it looks about the same. I feel like it does, but maybe not. Okay, now for blush, I actually already own this. Now, I don't think every day I wear blush, and I probably had some little cheekers ones maybe, but I know that this was a blush I have recently used up, and I've had this backup forever, but it's a blush. It doesn't smell funny. It's still performing fine. The Covergirl True Blend blush in medium rose. This one is definitely discontinued. I just already owned this. So I'm going to put that on the old school side. And I probably just would have put it right here if I had any on at all. So, you know, I feel like my thought then was I wanted my skin to be really even. I wanted it to be really smooth and all one color. You know, I had some like acne and stuff like that. So I think when you're doing your makeup, as a younger person, you know, you have different wants. You're, you know, or just the time was to be more all one thing. So I'm just going to add a touch of that blush. I'm not really going to do much because I wouldn't have put on much. On this side, I'm going to go in with the Urban Decay in Fetish. And even the application is going to be heavier and a little bit of a different shape. I'm going to pull this up the cheek a little bit. I'm trying so hard to put these on the right side of my face. Like I feel like I'm going to at some point mix them up and do the wrong thing. And for a highlighter, obviously nothing on this side wasn't the thing then. I'm going to pick up the Champagne Pop from Becca. Okay. I think that's it for base products. Okay, so here we are so far with just the base products done. This has 3 products on it, and that was where I kept it. Simple, simple, simple. This side I'm not even going to hold up everything I have on because my hands can't hold that much. So this is the current look side. This is the 15 years ago side. Honestly, it doesn't look that much different. Let me look at my viewfinder here. I think the skin actually looks better on this side. Like, this looks much smoother than this does. That's what I'm noticing. That's where my eye is drawn to. And this eyebrow definitely needs a little bit of help. But other than that, I don't think it looks that much different. So then it makes you question, you know, am I putting on too much makeup? But for me, it's the process. I just enjoy doing it, so I'm cool. Okay, so we're going to move on to eyes now. This eye is already primed and ready to go. The other eye, do I want to do the other eye first? Now, I didn't wear primer then. I didn't do primer. Sometimes I would do the foundation over the lid just to kind of even things out. The closest thing to primer I did use, because even at that time, like the powder shadow I'm going to put on, it hardly showed up. And I was like, what can you do to make this stay longer? Even at that time, I wanted more color. And I had a purple, like liquid eyeshadow. I think it was L'Oreal Aqua Proof, I think. So I'll see if I can find a picture or anything. But, and I would put that on first, and I would put my purple eyeshadow over the top. I always wore purple eyeshadow every day. It wasn't like crazy bold purple eyeshadow. It wasn't like I do now, which I love, but I wanted it to look like it does now. You know, if I was striving for something more and I just could never get there. So I didn't wear an eyeshadow primer, but I did wear a liquid eyeshadow underneath my other eyeshadow. But I couldn't find that. They don't sell that anymore. But I did find this little Revlon quad. This is the Revlon Wild Orchids. There's no like description of what this is, but it is a little cream shadow quad, and this goes back to, I had one of these or 2 of these when I was in high school. So I'm talking 20 years ago. 20 years ago, okay? I lived in my mom's house, and I had these little eyeshadows. Not this particular one. This is new. I bought this. But I had 4 of these quads, and I saw this. I wasn't looking for it, but I saw this and went, they still make this product? You've got to be kidding, Revlon. Because at the time, it was terrible. Like, it barely showed up on my eyes. It wore off in 2 seconds. But it was the only like makeup I had, so I was like, I gotta wear it. And I'm curious to try this. So this goes back even further than this look. You know what I mean? Like, this is old school makeup for me. So I'm going to put on a little bit of this. I don't know which one. Okay, I think I'm gonna go in with this shade right here. And let's see, I'm not even like touched this. And I would have applied it with my finger. Yeah, look at that. Oh, Revlon. So consistent with how it used to be. I mean, it's really, really creamy. You can see like my imprint in my finger, but it is not an opaque kind of thing here. And look at that, you can see right through it. But this is the kind of thing I would have had. And I did have. I can't believe they still sell this. Like, I cannot believe they still sell this. And I had a feeling it wasn't going to be great. And I almost didn't buy it, but I was like, you know what? This is one of the things I would have used as an eyeshadow primer, because I didn't know that they made them. So I just would have done that. Like, and it would have looked that sheer. You know, it's not... Revlon, why are we still making this? Why are we still making this? Because people like me buy it, I guess. But I don't recommend these. That foundation's looking pretty good. I don't recommend this. But they are still selling these 20 years later. I can't believe it. So this is what I would have used as an eyeshadow primer. So I wouldn't have let it set or anything, so we're going to go ahead and go in with our powder. For powder eyeshadow, I was looking for, they used to have a purple single, you know, their little single eyeshadows. They had a purple, like violet something or another. I could not find that anywhere. I couldn't find it online. I couldn't find it in store. But I did find a quad from them with almost the exact shade right here. But we're going to go in with this because it is a Covergirl shadow in purple, which is what I would have used. And I would have bought this because it came with an applicator, and I used this applicator. So we're going to go into the purple shade here. Gonna coat the brush. And yes, I wore purple eyeshadow like this every day. If I was going to do something different, I would go for like the other half of this palette, which is why I picked this up, because it was like this was my color scheme. Taupes and purples. But this is what I would have worn and how I would have applied it. And there were, you know, I used a single shadow, so I'm not even going to use the white as like a brow bone or anything. I wouldn't have done that. I just would have done this and been done with the eyeshadow portion. And look at that. I mean, like, it's nothing like I would do right now. So for the other eye, my current eyeshadow look, I'm going to use the BH Cosmetics Passion in Paris. And I'm going to go with these like purpley tones over here. I'm not going to go too detailed, just so we're not doing this all day. I just want a simple look. I'm going to start in the crease of this eye with this purple shade right here. You can see the difference already. Look at that. This is already like wearing off and creasing. And that's how it was. I can't believe they still like sell these. Like, these were new products. I just bought these. Why are these still on the market? I understand why I wore them at the time. So that was the thing, you know, that was what I knew about. I didn't know about BH Cosmetics ColourPop. This probably didn't exist at the time. I'm gonna take a little bit of a fluffy crease brush here and go into, I know I just said I don't want to go too dramatic, but I want to do it like I would do it right now. So I'm gonna go into the shade up here in the corner, kind of this bluey purple shade. I just can't get over how like meh that is. I think the fact that I bought it, you know, 2 weeks ago and not 20 years ago is what's cracking me up. So people must buy their stuff. So I feel like it's kind of like people, those who are like I was, where that's what you know. You know, most of the things I owned were Covergirl. That was something I was familiar with. It was affordable. And that was the section I went to when I went into the store. Take a little more of a precise brush into that same dark blue. Just in the outer corner. I think we'll just go with that. I don't want to go too crazy. And then I'm going to take the shimmery purple here and put that all over the lid. I think one of the first like makeup brushes I had, I would use to apply my purple shadow. I think I had finally acquired one somewhere. Like just some random little brush, and I was like, ooh. I mean, look at the difference. The quality difference, you know? Because this wasn't even me trying to apply it poorly. You know, I wasn't trying to, oh, I didn't know how to do it then. But it just, the quality of the product and what I would have chosen, you know, just a one color look on that eye is what I would have done. So I think we'll leave it at that. We're not gonna, well, I'll take a little bit under the eye with that purple. Then we'll take the pink, then we'll take this white shade and put it on the inner corner. So there is the difference in the old eyeshadow look versus the new eyeshadow look. Now, I am going to go ahead and pull in, I think I'll pull in another one of these purples out of like this cream shadow palette, just to try to help this out a little bit here. Let's see what we can do. Because I do feel like my Aqua Proof little liquid liner thing I had was better than this Revlon quad of like cream shadow. So I feel like I would have had a better application, but then again at the time maybe I just felt like I did. So we're going to go back in with the purple and just pack that all over the lid. I mean, we're using the term packing very loosely here. Okay. And I'm not going to use the brown to deepen it up like I said, or the white to highlight, because I wouldn't have. I would have done this and left it at this. Okay. So here we have the 15-year-old face and current makeup look. Now for eyeliner. I did used to wear eyeliner, but I didn't wear liquid liner or gel liner. I wore a pencil, period. And I wore a brown pencil. And I would wear the Covergirl one or an Almay one, you know, kind of would switch between the two. But this Covergirl Perfect Blend, I do have black brown. They didn't have plain brown, so that's fine. But I would always get the one with like the smudger tip on the end. I was very loyal to the products I bought, and not because, it wasn't because I loved Covergirl, but I was just like, I couldn't venture outside of that. I couldn't make myself buy something else. So this does have like the little smudgy tip on the end, which I sometimes would use. But I would use this to line all of my eye, and I always bought a brown one. So I would line my upper lash line. This is not easy to do with this pencil. I feel like that's a very thick line. I think at this point I probably would have used the little smudger. Kind of soften what I have done. And looking back at some of this, I'm like, this was much harder to apply than what I've been using, what I use now. Oh my gosh. Okay, so we'll be done with the upper lash line on this one. I'll try to get it right in the lashes. But yeah, I would either get Covergirl of this, or I think there was an Almay one. You know, when Almay sold like the things that go with your eye color, like those trios and like these pencils, I was like, ooh, brown eyes. I'm telling you, at this stage, I'm like, why do they put, you know, applicators with products, or why do they, you know, give such specific instruction? And I'm like, I used that at the time. I didn't know what else to do or buy. So that was what I did. You know, I was like, oh, well, they're going to tell me. Okay. Brown eyeliner on top. Purple eyeshadow, brown eyeliner. Nowadays, I go in with a liquid black eyeliner on the top. This is my Stila one. Nowadays, I'm like, this is so much easier to apply. It is a much, you know, harsher look. I usually wing it out a little bit. I do want to get another one of my Physicians Formula. I have other eyeliners, so I want to like finish them, but at the same time, I don't. Because I do feel like with eyeliner, the kind you use really can make a difference. You know, what you're comfortable using is going to make a difference. So that's for the top lash line. I now do black liquid liner as opposed to brown pencil liner. At this point, I will go on to the bottom lash line, and I did wear eyeliner on my lower lash line. With this look, I'm just going to add a purple eyeliner in the waterline, because that's usually what I would do. So there's our purple eyeliner, and nowadays, you know, I'll wear all the colors of eyeliner. Okay. Now, I actually put that in my waterline now. Then, that was not what I was going to do. But I would take my brown pencil liner and like smudge it into my lash line, like where my actual lashes are. And I wouldn't always take it all the way across. I would smudge it out a little bit. That's just so simple. I really just didn't do much, and it didn't take long to do it. So that was it. I would line the top, line along the lashes on the bottom. Okay, from here, I've already done the inner corner highlighting and all that on this side. So from here, I'm going to go on to mascara. On this side, Do you know that they still sell this? The Maybelline Full and Soft. I almost got a Maybelline, I think it's called like Push Up Plush or something like that. I don't remember what brand that was, but I couldn't find it anywhere. That was definitely one I wore. But then I found this one and I thought this was about the same era as like this. You know, this was like throwback, but I would always repurchase this one. And the first person I saw use this was actually my older sister, and I was like, oh, she has the Full and Soft one. So I've not used this in 15 years probably. So this is in the shade Very Black, and I'm actually really excited to see how this turns out. Okay, really typical wand. It's exactly what I remember it looking like. And I don't think I would have curled my eyelashes. I mean, maybe I would have, but definitely not on a daily basis. So we're just gonna go in. But the other one I was talking about in the green tube had a brush very, very similar to this too. These were what I liked. And actually, I was worried that, I told my husband, I said, I'm so concerned because I didn't wear like a lot of blush and I didn't wear highlighter or contour or anything like that. And I thought, if I just put on this foundation and powder, I'm going to look like a corpse. Honestly, it doesn't look bad. It just looks really soft. Like this side looks it feels even to the touch, like really soft to the touch. This stuff only looks and feels more textured. And I would have put a little on the lower lash line. Yeah, it's definitely not given much. Definitely not given much. Yeah, this is on like the very, very bottom shelf in the store. So I wasn't even going to look for it. I thought for sure this has been discontinued. Nope. And of course, at one point I used like the Great Lash, but this was more of a staple. And also the L'Oreal Voluminous. I even own that still to this day. The Voluminous Original was honestly something I also used, so I might do a little coat of that over the top. You know, these were two like very classic. At the time, I wouldn't have paired both of them. I would have used one. I would have had one mascara at a time. So there's that mascara. So the Maybelline Full and Soft. Yeah, I think this needs a little bit to dry out. I don't remember it being this wet of a formula, but I feel like in a couple weeks this is going to be really good again. And yeah, I can't believe they still sell that. And of course, Voluminous Original, also a staple at that time. So these were two that definitely would have been used. Okay, and on to the current side. I will definitely curl my lashes. Okay, and I'm going to go in with my two current favorite mascaras, which are my Essence ones. Lash Princess, pink and the green mixed together right now are really doing it for me. Ooh, look at that length. I don't know if it's me or the brush, but I am definitely getting a lot more like hitting of the lashes here, or hitting of my eyelid. Okay, we have our mascara done. I'm not going to do any false lashes or anything like that because I don't do that on the daily. So now on to lips. On this side, I probably would go like this, like with nothing on. I probably carried a lip gloss or something, or lipstick in my bag. I don't remember specifically having like one shade I always wore, but a Revlon lipstick definitely, if I, you know, would have been carrying one around, this definitely would have been it. And I would have applied it this way. No lip liner. In a very basic color. That would have been it. Or bare lips. You know, I wasn't touching up, I wasn't keeping up. I would add some powder occasionally to my face, but other than that, that would have been it. On this side though, I'm going to take a lip liner, the Lorac in the shade Goddess. Then I'm going to take my Marc Jacobs in Infamous. This wasn't the one I thought I picked out, but put that on. And then a lip gloss, and this is the Marc Jacobs in Love Drunk. Love it over that. Okay. And then I even grabbed out a setting spray for this side of my face. So we'll do a little spritz of that. I don't always use a setting spray, but I felt if we were going all the steps that could possibly happen, we were going to have to do that. Okay, so there we have it. Half my face with my current makeup routine and half of my face with my 15 years ago, 20-year-old self makeup routine. Now looking at them side by side, this side definitely the eyeshadow, everything over here like on the eyes, I like better. But I will say the mascara that's on this side, I kind of like that little spiky lash look with the brown eyeliner. I don't mind that. The eyeshadows over here, the Covergirl quad, the Revlon little cream quad, they are what they always were. This, you know what I mean? Like it's not fantastic. I'd be curious to put these over like my MAC paint pot to see how they look that way, but you know, again, I'm keeping all these things. I'll play with them some more, but this is how I would have applied my makeup when I was, you know, heading to work. This is essentially how I looked when my husband met me. I dabbed off some of the lipstick on this side because I definitely wouldn't have had that much. Like it wouldn't have been that pigmented. Okay. So this is me 15 years ago. And this is now. So it's amazing how your makeup style changes and you learn how to apply it differently. You learn how to apply it, you know, to make it more pigmented. For me, it was never, I want to do it, you know, better, but I wanted to know how to apply those products. I didn't know how to use, you know, a liquid foundation. Genuinely, I didn't. So the Aqua Smooth that came with the applicator was the selling point for me. Like that's why I bought this. And I'm like, it's funny to think now that I have a million brushes and, you know, all those products, it's funny to look back at, you know, this was every day. This was what I knew how to apply, and it was how I felt comfortable. And even this, I feel like this would be really nice everyday makeup for me. And the Covergirl Aqua Smooth, if this wears nicely, like if this actually stays on my skin, I really like the way that this looks. I understand why I bought this over and over again, even after like I started to know how to apply makeup, because this has such a beautiful finish. It's such a nice cream foundation. Okay, this was my half face current day makeup look, half face 15 year ago makeup look. And what do you guys think? How did it turn out? Do you see a difference? I mean, in the products, you know, the pencil eyeliner looks a little more smudgy than a liquid liner. Again, liquid liner was terrifying to me. But it's amazing how you watch somebody do it and you're like, oh, that's how you apply that. So I don't think that this looks bad by any means. I will probably wear this foundation again. I will probably try these eyeshadows with my MAC paint pot because on their own these are not good. Like these were not good. So the eyeshadow over here is definitely a preference for me. This is what I prefer. But the skin on this side looks really nice right here. Like it just looks and feels so smooth. I hope you enjoyed today's video, traveling back in time with me. So I will see you in the next one. Bye.